Is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? Guys, another interesting end to Zero Chronicles. I honestly don't know how to really be feeling about this show when it comes down to where it could go. Um, with everything popping off against the strongest being pretty much in the known world, they made it a very cool point to just, focus everything on him in the grand scheme of he is the main trouble, he is the ultimate threat, and if this stuff didn't wind up happening, alright, Jack, alright, if this stuff didn't wind up happening, they would have definitely ended up in a much worse spot and had themselves like being killed off by this, you know, world's ego, as the Darkness King calls him, and we all know that he's actually a dragon, and some people consider him a god. So there's a lot going on with his character alone, and that's another reason why I think the show is in good hands, or at least can be really good if they can continue to make, really awesome choices of why certain things are happening, like the way they were this week's episode. So definitely looking forward to that the most, just seeing what they decide to do with all these characters and how they're going to handle them as a whole, because as of now, it definitely feels as if everybody who we've seen so far has been, relatively even, I guess you can say, when it comes down to the strongest of the balancing of the light. But now that we honestly have a good sight of what happens to the girl after to the queen after she uses so much power, she's pretty much useless. And we can't say the same about the Darkness King just because we haven't seen him after all is said and done, which is, I think, another really smart move on the show, another smart move just on the overall plot itself, because it gives us this unsettling feeling that if the Darkness King has any information about this, um, it's going to be an easy, easy win for these overall army that they could send out. Just keep sending people towards the queen, weaken her out, and then beat her. Um, and I think the best way that they can convey that they got this information somehow would be from one of the two people who were actually up there and witnessed her in her lowest moment after the battle, right? So in my in my guess, or like in my eyes, this was a really cool way to just show us that either the queen isn't nearly as powerful as the Darkness King, simply when it comes down to endurance, sorry. And if that's the case, it just puts into perspective how off-putting it will feel once we know just who's going to be in trouble if she goes too out there to try to win, which is nice. Because at this point in time, I feel like this show has already made it clear that the only people who could really win against darkness or light was the person that they had to team up against to pretty much stop them from even doing what they were going to be. Like, they wanted to battle each other and probably end each other, but since this guy in the middle existed, there was no way, this mad dragon god. So I honestly do love where they were going with that. It definitely does suck a little bit that he's been, sealed away, but that's another reason why this show is doing good, in my opinion, because guess what? This guy is so ridiculous. He couldn't even be killed by the two darkness and light strongest people that have been the only people challenging his power ever since he's just been free roaming and doing what he wants, however he wants. So that's why I'm really interested in seeing how fast everything might start popping off in the background now that he's out of the picture. There's no one really to stop either side from doing what they want in the case of advancing and putting certain soldiers in certain places because they don't have to really worry about this random unknown third party kind of coming out of nowhere and just doing anything as he pleases. So overall, I think we're in a interesting spot with this show. I think our main character, the Darkness Prince, is also going to be in a weird situation when it comes down to love interest because the girl who he saved already that was fighting heavily with the Darkness King and his mentor, she has a thing for him. And if she comes to find out that maybe the light queen has a chance with him, she might try to use any information she finds out against her and try to take her out quicker, right? Like love is a dangerous monster, and to have war amongst love, it's going to be pretty hard to read in between the lines of what's right and what's wrong, including when there's going to be so many ways to say you're right compared to saying you're wrong when you're going against people that aren't even on your side anymore. You had an alliance, but that is gone with the person that is defeated. So overall, I think the show is getting really, really interesting, like I said, but at the same time, it took a while to get here, but I honestly did have hope that the potential in the show would be there, and it looks like it's not disappointing me. So I hope you guys are all having an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be when you're watching this. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I will definitely talk to you sooner than later. And I said this in the end of my last video. I was thinking about doing a Rick and Morty review later today because I haven't even watched it just because of time and work and stuff like that. I got to be up early, and I wanted to also be up early to do these videos and not feel ridiculously tired and stuff. So it's all just comes with practice of making sure my time is spent wise. But if you guys don't really care about my Rick and Morty review, I'll know through the likes and stuff like that. So maybe I won't be doing the rest of the Rick and Morty reviews, but hey, I won't stop watching the show, that's for dang sure. So overall, everybody, take care, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace. Bruh. Holy crap.